Hello there, wonderful people. It is your girl, Valerie Priester, the business coach to female life coaches. And we are here today live for our Business by Design. Oh my goodness. And guess what? I didn't put on any lipstick before I came on. So, no big deal. We're here anyway, right? And this is live. So, I'm going to just color my lips just a little bit. Amazing how I forget certain small things. I just finished eating lunch. So, anyway, we're here today and we're continuing our conversation around your brand, right? And you representing your brand and standing out. And so today we're going to talk about how to really find your authentic voice. And what do I mean by your voice? Not necessarily the sound of your voice or the tone of your voice and all of those things, although they do matter as well, but more about like what you stand for, your personality, and how people get to see you when you show up, like showing up in video, right? How do they get to see your personality? How do they get to experience you and hear you, right? That's your authentic voice. And so, you have to make a decision on showing up authentically and being who you are. That means, whether you're a friendly person, whether you're formal, whether you're modern, you're old fashioned, whether you curse a lot or cuss a lot, however you want to say that, right? Whatever that is, you want to make sure that you show up authentically you and who you are. And here's what that does for you. It will allow you to attract your audience, the people that are attracted to you because you are authentic, because you're being your true self, right? And so no matter what that looks like, you want to always make certain that that's how you're showing up. Your voice really advertises who you are, what you stand for, right? And here's the other thing. Not only will it attract the people that you really, really are, I like to say, ordained to serve, right? The people that are your people, the people that will learn from you, the people that really enjoy listening to you and hearing what you have to say. It will attract those individuals, but here's what it will also do that's beneficial. It will repel the ones that are not your people, right? Just that simple. But being you is all that you ever have to really be concerned about when we're talking about your authentic voice, when we're talking about your personality and who you are, what you stand for, and those type things. And so one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people make is they try to emulate other people. They try to be like other people, and they're not authentic. They don't sound authentic. They don't feel authentic, right? And your audience will know that. They will know the difference. Here's what I always like to say too. If someone meets you in person, are you the same person that you show up as online? Or are you totally different, right? I see this a lot. And when we do that, it really stands in the way of people getting to know, like, and trust us because we're not really being authentic, right? So your authentic voice and making sure that you are using that when you're communicating with your audience and with your potential clients and the people that follow you, your followers, your subscribers, right? Your readers, the people that are reading your blogs, reading your newsletters. When you authentically show up with your voice, it really makes a difference. Again, it helps you to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. All right. So here's a couple of things and a couple of ways that you can make certain that you're really reinforcing the authentic voice, right? And that you are using the authentic voice to really show up to your audience as who you are. Number one, graphics is a huge piece of what you will see because it's a visual, right? It's what people see. So when they look at your brand and they see the graphics and the things that you're putting out there, all of those graphics should represent your authentic voice. So let's take this, for instance, a lot of graphics you can use as metaphors. So if you're talking about, let's say, self-reflection, meditation, something along those lines, then you would want to use something like a peaceful wilderness, right? Or forest, something that shows a sign of reflection and serenity, right? To represent that. That's a really good way to show it. Another way is graphics can reinforce a mood. So if you show things like bright colored roses, it will represent things like happiness, right? Femininity, is one that can be represented from florals or flowers if you're using those. Love, luxury, right? Those are all different moods that you can show just by using the right graphics. And then another one is graphics can reinforce and pick up your brand colors. Now, this piece is very important because, again, you're showing authentically who you are. So when you are posting on, let's say, Pinterest or Instagram or really any social media platforms, you want to make certain that you are staying in alignment with your brand colors, right? People get to know your brand colors. They get to know what your look is if you're thinking about like the things that you put out there. And then they also get to know when it's not really you, right? When something is like totally off the wall that you post and it's not really you. Like I remember one time I made a mistake and posted, the what do you call them? The backgrounds that are on Facebook, where you could pick these different backgrounds for your post. And I didn't realize at the time when they came out with this new background that this particular background actually represented poop. But I used that in the background of one of my posts, and immediately I start getting people like messaging me, private messaging me, going, "Hey, did you really mean to say that? Did you really mean to use that? To say to really emphasize what you were saying on that post? Because that particular background means poop." And I'm like, "No, that's not what I meant at all," right? So you have to really be mindful and be careful of what you're putting out there when we talk about graphics and how you show up, because they also represent your authentic voice, right? Now, the other thing is you want to also make sure that your audience hears your voice. That's why video is so popular and converts very well, because people get to see and hear you. They also get to see your mannerisms, right? Your personality, your facial expressions, all of those things, right? And so when you show up this way, and when you show up consistently this way, then what happens is, and I get this a lot, like when you're writing a blog post or you're writing an email or something of that nature, people tell me all the time, "You know what, I hear you saying that. I'm reading it, but I hear you say it," because they've seen me enough in video. They've seen me live enough to know, how I respond, how I move, my, personality, my actions, and all of those things. And they can really hear my voice in my writing. And that's really what you want to come across to your audience, because now, again, they're getting to know, like, and trust you. They're getting familiar with your authentic voice, right? There's a lot of people that I follow. In fact, a lot of coaches that I follow, and some of my previous coaches that I've worked with, that I follow. I can read some of their posts or read their, emails or whatever, and I can hear their voice as I'm reading, because they are being really true and authentic in their voice and what they present online and offline, right? And so you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. So how can you use like your voice in video, right? There's so many different ways. You can put a video on your homepage on your website. You can put video in your blog post, right? You can use an audio file in your blog post, something where they can hear your voice, right? You can use it in so many different ways. Videos that you're showing up online on YouTube, right? Definitely Facebook Lives, if you do those, right? Doing them with consistency so that people can see you showing up and hear your voice. All of those are great ways to use your voice audibly so that they can hear you and get to know, like, and trust you, right? And then, as I said, the right people that are attracted to you will follow you. And then the ones that, are not so attracted to you, they won't. And that's okay, right? Some of the things too that you can think about when you think about your authentic voice, right? And what is your actual voice like? You want to think about, like, are you tough, right? Do you show tough love? Like, I have a mixture of that. Are you sweet and loving? Are you kind and, gentle and, really, really, I'm just going to cuddle you and nurture you and love you, right? So I have a side of me that's like that, but then I also have this side of me that's tough love, right? But all of that shows in my, speaking, and when I show up to do videos, or even when I'm on stage speaking, right? All of that shows up because that's authentically who I am. The other thing is this: do you use a lot of jargon, right? Do you use like the language from your industry, right? A lot of people use a lot of that, and sometimes that's okay, because the people that you're aiming to attract, they understand that and they will relate to that, right? It'll resonate with them and they'll still be able to get to know, like, and trust you. But the people that it doesn't resonate with, they won't, necessarily stick and want to follow you because they can't really understand, right? Here's a big one. And a lot of people are just, this is just how they are, right? The whole cussing thing, right? So I'm not a huge cusser. I'm not. But occasionally you may hear, a word or two, ass or whatever, right? But I'm not a huge cusser. And so that's not a part of my personality. It's not anything that I would put out there with consistency. And it's certainly not anything that I would just like hop on a video one day and just say, hey, I'm going to try and I'm just going to curse, 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 because my audience will know that that's not me. It won't even sound like me, right? And so while you have people that do that, it works for them because that's authentically who they are, right? And so some people are repelled by that. Other people, like myself, like when I see someone that's their personality and that's who they are, I'm not necessarily listening to all of the curse words. I'm listening to the content because I know that the content is still good, right? While the language may not be my desired preference of language, but I'm listening for the content that they're giving because usually it's valuable content. Now you have a lot of people who can't get beyond the language and so they won't listen, right? So perfect example of you will attract the people that are meant to be for you and that are meant to be attracted to you. And then you will repel the ones that aren't when you use your authentic voice, right? So don't try to copy anybody else. Don't try to be like anybody else. Just show up as yourself. Be you, right? The biggest key in all of this is consistency. I say that all the time. So don't get into a place where, you're going to show up this week and then for 3 weeks you won't show up and then you'll come back and say, hey, I'm back. You want to make sure that you have consistency in how you show up and making sure that you're using your authentic voice when you do show up, right? I hope that makes sense. So let's just kind of review real quick and go back over a couple of the ways that you can make sure that you are representing your brand and that you're using your authentic voice to do that. So you can do it using graphics, right? You can do it using, of course, your voice through video, through audio files. You can make certain that you are deciding on what is your authentic voice. Who are you when you're speaking and when you're representing your brand? Are you the nice and the loving and the kind person? Then be that. Are you the person that, is a little bit more demanding, a little bit more firm? Then be that. If you're the person that, wants to cuss every other word and get your point across, be that, right? Whatever it is, just make sure that you're showing up authentically and that you're doing that with consistency. Okay? That is my business by design for today. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and we'll be back here again next week for another business by design on Thursday, 2 p.m. Central. And as always, remember, if you have any questions, if there's something you want me to talk about, cover during the business by design, I'll be happy to do that. Just leave me a comment below and I'll be happy to accommodate you and talk about anything that you desire. If you really, really need help with different ways of attracting your clients, I invite you to actually take a look at my free webinar, 3 Simple Secrets to Find Coaching Clients Within the Next 45 Days. I will put the link to that webinar in the notes so that you can find it. But take a look at that. It gives you 3 simple ways that you can really find coaching clients for your business, right? It's some of the top secrets that, a lot of the coaches are not sharing, or if they do share it, they kind of skim across the top of it and not give you a whole lot of detail. Well, this webinar can give you step-by-step what you need to do to be able to attract clients in your coaching business and start making real income in your business. All right. So I'll leave the notes below. Again, if you have any comments, anything you want me to talk about, make sure you let me know, comment on this video, and don't forget, subscribe, like, share, right? All of those things that they tell you to do here on YouTube and on social media. Just make sure that you get the word out, let other people know that I am here every Thursday, 2 p.m. Central, and for our Business by Design episode. And as always, remember, designing your victory is a choice. Go create the life and the business that you desire and start doing that today. We'll see you next week. Bye.